Morning guys, Friday morning. Up and at 'em, out here doing it. It's been one of those weeks of tension headaches. I tell you what, God dear, especially Tuesday morning. Tuesday was wow, it was a doozy. I pretty much spent a lot of the day in bed with a bad tension headache that was going in and out of migraine, well, near migraine, if it wasn't a migraine. And yeah, I've had that all week. And then this morning, I actually don't feel too bad. I had a couple of spells yesterday where I didn't have it, which was bliss. Because they can last, you know, hour, couple of hours, anywhere up to a few days. So, you know, when you're there with those kind of headaches, they're not much fun. But anyway, let me cross over here. I want to talk to you about comfort and how, you know, if you guys want to get anywhere and get to those goals and move towards something that you really want to go to, you don't get anywhere by being comfortable. It's about facing certain aspects of those things that you may be scared of. I know a few surfers, and I'm sure, I mean, I've never surfed, but I'm sure if you want to go for those bigger waves, there's fears involved. But those guys that are surfing those bigger waves have definitely gone outside their comfort zone and gone for it. It's the only way you're going to learn. It's the only way we're going to find out what we are capable of and what we can do, because you can do anything. Anything you want to do, you can do. But are you willing to step out? Are you willing to step into the discomfort instead of in the comfort? I'm going to use a story. Hang on, let me get past all these. They're trimming the trees. Hedge clipping the old Gustrums, I think they are. Anyway, when I was living in England and I came over here on vacation many years ago with a buddy of mine, I met my wife. Didn't know it at the time, but I met my wife. And how I met her was my buddy was dating an American girl, and I just split up with a girl. And I came over with him. We cleared it, we made sure it was all right with the girlfriend of his, of course, to stay with her, and I came with him. And always wanted to come to the US. So here we are on vacation. And then the girlfriend of my buddy says, "Hey, I've got a friend coming up. She's coming for a job. She's going to be staying with us." That was my wife. But anyway, met my wife. Still had no intentions of dating or nothing like that. 4,000 miles away. Well, I wasn't going to think about that. You kidding me? But anyway, one thing led to another. I went back to England. I got a phone call. It was actually the friend, and then passed my wife the phone. And she got on the phone, and that was the start of us talking. And it went from there to where a decision had to be made. What are we doing? This is where the comfort zone or the discomfort comes in. Because now there's a choice. Which one of us? One of us is going to move because, hey, we want to be together. We like each other. We want to go that bit further. We want to try it. See how we do. But we ain't going to do that unless one of us is, or both of us I should say, are put into that uncomfortable zone. So I told her, I asked her first, do you want to come to London? I was in a job, and the job, you know, it was all right, but new management had taken over, new executive chef had taken over, and to tell you the truth, the atmosphere of the kitchen went kind of to shit. and I was ready to get out. Been there 6.5 years. So and my wife had just started a career because she'd just gone up there, as I say. That's how I met her. So I said, okay, I'll come to you. Well, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but you used to be able to get a visa for 3 months, and you could stay here for 3 months. You could stay here 3 months without a visa. You didn't need a visa. And I don't know what it is now, like I say. So I came over with pretty much, we knew the intention. I wasn't going back. And I shipped all my gear, had a mover turn up at my mum's, mum and dad's. And when I came over, they came after me and they started boxing everything up in England and shipped it. But that plane, that lead up to me moving over, scary, right? Even though it was weird, because I've told someone this recently, I didn't have really much anxiety with it. Crazy. Hello. Crazy. I didn't really have much anxiety with it. And but everything had to be done. So here I am. I come to the States, way out of my comfort zone. And I came to the States. I had to get through immigration and all that, and they weren't too happy that I was returning so soon because I'd already been over there. And it was only like, I don't know, month or so gap, if that. I think it was about a month. Might have been 2, because I remember taking a month off work before I left. And yeah, massive. I didn't know anybody. I left everybody behind. I literally only knew a couple of people that my wife knew. I didn't have any friends of my own. I left them all down in England. Got no family here. And we had no money. My wife worked for the government. And we got an apartment together. And then we had to think about it. We were going to come up with a rent. And I couldn't work because of immigration. And my wife was the breadwinner, and she had a government job which paid hardly anything. So we had no money. We celebrated when we had chicken one night. And then 5 days later, my dad passed. When I was here, I just got it. So then I had all that to do with it. So listen, guys, I'm not there now. I made that step way outside of my comfort zone. But where I'm at now, I wouldn't have had where I'm at now in England, because it's just the way it would have been. I wouldn't have had the house I'm living in. I wouldn't have had the pleasures that I have. And that all came from making that step. Being the one to go, okay, I'll make that step. I'll move through my comfort zone and I'll make that step. You don't get anywhere by sitting, guys. Make a decision and start moving towards it. You're going to come up against some discomfort, so I ain't going to lie. You know, even with therapy, yeah? If you're going to a therapist or even a life coach, I do a lot of it. I do life coach, and a lot of that comes with guidance. Morning.
Good morning.
A lot of that comes with guidance, so yeah, people call me a therapist, but legally, as far as a degree, I ain't. But I do it all. I like to guide people into a better life, but that comes with discomfort, guys. That comes with going and sitting in front of somebody, getting told things you don't want to hear. And that can be hard. Morning. That could be really difficult and hard to do. But you know what? If you want to grow, if you want to move, if you want to get in somewhere and get to your mind and find out what's happening with your mind, that takes stepping into some discomforts. It takes putting your hand up. It takes saying that you may have been wrong. Don't get anywhere in the comfort zone. Morning. Oh, that was loud. You don't get anywhere by being in the comfort zone. So all those things that you want to go for, all those things, if you're just sitting or you're laying in bed because it's comfortable, you're not moving. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Step out. Move towards the things that you want to move towards. Those goals, those things that you've been looking to do. And by the way, guys, if the thing that's stopping you and keeping you in your comfort zone is making mistakes, you're never going to move. You're never going to move because you're afraid of something that hasn't even happened yet. How do you know? How do you know you're going to make those mistakes? And to tell you the truth, I always say to my guys, hey, encourage the mistakes. They look at me with their eyes wide open. If you don't make the mistakes, how do you learn? How do you know what to do? You're making the mistake, which I call bumps, by the way. And you've heard me say this before if you follow me. You know, even with my guys that I guide, I try and stay away from the word mistake because it's a bit of a brick wall. If you call it a bump, you can go over, through or around a bump. It don't stop you. You just find a way around or way through it or over it. But a mistake, when you say mistake, it's like a brick wall coming down, right? So I tell them, hey, encourage the things that stomp you, that make you like, oh, what's that? Because that's where the lessons are. That's where you learn. Don't try and move away from the word mistake being a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's actually a word that can help move you forward. Yeah? Look at those mistakes, or look at those bumps. I'm going to say bumps, because that's the words I use. But look at those bumps and go, right, I want to get there. How do I get over that? How do I move around? How do I move around that? I know I did this before. That didn't quite work, or something didn't go to plan. Change it. Now you've got evidence that didn't work, or it didn't work for you. Doesn't mean it might not work for somebody else, but it didn't work for you. So if it didn't work for you, find a way that does work for you. Don't stop, right? That means you going back into your comfort zone. If you go back into your comfort zone, again, that's why it's called comfort. Yeah? All these executives and all these big businesses and all these huge guys didn't get there by sitting in the comfort. The go-getters, they go out there, face some of those things that they may have to face to get where they want to go. And that's what it's all about, guys. Progress, growth, moving forward. That's what life is about, not about comfort. Yeah, comfort's nice. Don't get me wrong. There's those times when you want to get away, go on holiday, do nothing, be comfortable. Yeah, of course. Downtimes are great things to have too. But you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're one of those people that do that. It's one of those situations you just know you're doing it. And don't call yourself lazy either. It's a cop-out word. Yeah? What's lazy? What is it? You don't want to do it? What does that mean, lazy? I don't even use the word. I might have done jokingly, but I don't walk up to someone and say, oh, I don't want to do that because I'm lazy. Or, oh, I'm lazy. It's a cop-out word. It's laziness, I believe, is one of those words like, I can't. Or, I shouldn't, or I should. It's like a swear word. Lazy. It's just a word that you use to get yourself out of something. It's a word that I'm lazy. What's behind the laziness? Why? Why are you lazy? If you're calling yourself that, why? What's stopping you? What is it that you're afraid of? because it really is. It's a word that, swap round here. It's a word that's been used many, many, many times, I believe, as a way to get out of something. And if you're looking to get out of something, don't use a word called lazy, because you're labelling yourself with a word. And now the brain is believing that. And now every time you come up against something, it's going to start using that word freely. Just use it. Don't want to step out your comfort zone? Oh, I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. You're using that word like a swear word. Throw that out of your vocabulary. Just like can't, should, shouldn'ts, have to's, have. You know, the F, have to. Right? When you put the have to, you're starting to point a finger at yourself. Starting to point that finger, guys. So don't worry about the comfort part. Move outside the comfort. Pull the blankets back. Pull the blankets back. My daughter just drove by and hit the horn. Pull the blankets back. Get out of bed. Get your feet on the ground. Go for it. What you got to lose? If you have never done it before, how do you know that you can't? How do you know that you can? How do you know? You don't know. That's why I say can't's a swear word. Don't put that in the way, yeah? Lazy, another 4-letter swear word. Go for it, guys. Step out your comfort zone. Move towards where you want to go. And you're going to love yourself even more when you start accomplishing these tasks. Stay the course, guys. Namaste.